And we're back. Are we back? We're back.
That was excellent.
Thank you, sir. All right. So where were we? History's bullshit.
That's right. Yeah. And Elon Musk has all the secrets.
He's got something. He's got some secrets. Yeah. I mean, he obviously felt very compelled to buy Twitter. I mean, it's not like I mean, $44 billion is a lot of goddamn money, and he overpaid for it. But he felt like there's a need to have some sort of an uncensored distribution of information, or at least ungovernment censored.
This is why I'm such a fan of him. Anyone at this point in time that's an advocate for free speech, I'm on your side. We live in a wild time. Anyone with their eyes that's paying attention sees that there's people controlling information. And throughout history, this has been proven time and time again to lead to tyranny when you stop people from sharing things. So I'm 38 years old, and growing up, I remember back in the day, people could say whatever they wanted. Free speech was real. You're allowed to have it. Worst case scenario, people ridicule you, and everything was fine. And now we're entering this age where things are being called dangerous, like ancient apocalypse. That's dangerous misinformation. It's like, no, the only thing dangerous is stopping people from having a voice.
Well, also, when you start attributing, when you put words on that like racism, and you start putting those kind of accusations towards if you watch that special, the series, and you say, oh, this is racist, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, it's really that simple. Yeah. Or you're a dangerous asshole who wants to change the reality of what this guy's actually talking about.
Right. Throughout history, anyone, whether it's the Nazis, the Stalinists, the Maoists, and everyone else, anyone that's ever censored people, the people who censor other people, they're always the bad guys historically. Always. 100% of the time. And it always leads into a bunch of people getting hurt. And it's like rinse, cycle, repeat throughout history. This is
one of the first times where educated, progressive people who think of themselves as compassionate are advocating censorship, which is so bizarre.
It's the same people, actually. Same people, same argument that they made 3 years ago against him. The Journal of American Archaeology, or the Society of American Archaeology, dedicated 27 pages in a journal 3 years ago to attacking Hancock for his book America Before.
Yeah.
Same accusations, same language, same people. And then I think what happened was when his show comes out and it's got you're there. I think Jordan Peterson was in one of the clips, and I think it triggered some of the more maybe left-leaning publications to go and look for what are the arguments being made against this, and then all those talking points get amplified and boosted, and it becomes this much bigger thing. But
they're just terrified that they're losing control of the narrative. I mean, that's the big part of it, and it's the same problem they have with this podcast, the same problem they have with a lot of things that can become very popular that they can't control.
Right.
They just hate the fact that people are just able to discuss things openly and freely without them being in control of it and getting all their greasy fucking fingers all over stuff.
Right. It's unfortunate in more ways than one, because historically it always leads to like a terrible abyss of oblivion, and they never stop. That's the thing. That once they start going after tyrannical control, historically it seems like it just never ever stops until someone stops them.
Yeah, which is scary.
It is. It is scary. But the reality is that I look at this topic, there's a niche community, they're into the ancients. And whether it's archaeologists that disagree with everything we just said, or other people that agree with everything Graham Hancock says, this is a win-win for everybody. I think this is an opportunity for people to unite under a common interest and then start exploring these topics. For example, if I had won the lottery, I would have, hired a bunch of archaeologists that are the biggest naysayers of anything that's alternative, and be like, hey, like here's a salary. Let's get some blocks and let's start cutting this stuff and moving it and just experiment. And it's a win-win for everybody. We'll learn something new.
They wouldn't engage with you. I mean, that's one of the problems that Graham has with his detractors. They say they'll debate him, but then when he offers them to debate him, they scurry away and hide.
Right.
Because I think they all kind of know, and I don't think they're necessary anymore. Thanks to people like you guys who have really just examined all of the actual evidence without any biases or any sort of ulterior motive in any narrative that you're trying to promote. You're just looking at it going, what is it? This is wild stuff. And
thank you.
Because of the fact that you guys exist on these platforms like YouTube, where you can get millions and millions of views. I mean, there are no mainstream archaeologists that are getting millions of views on their stuff. It's just
that's why they're bitter, envious, and jealous.
Yeah. It does drive them crazy. They actually talk about it in some of these articles.
It should. They suck. You suck at distribution of information, and you're ignoring the most interesting stuff.
Yeah. Right.
You know, when you're looking at the evidence of Atlantis, or if you're looking at these similar construction methods that exist all over the world, like how? What the fuck is the real truth here?
This is what's so interesting. So a lot of people criticize us or Graham Hancock, like, you're not archaeologists, you're not historians, you can't be trusted. But I'm like, having outside eyes come in is so important. Let me give you a quick little example I shared with Ben the other day. So I came from Target. I was investigating fraud with them, busting employees that stole from the company. And there was a story that one of the executives spoke in front of us when I was an intern. And at that time, this is like 2013, Walmart was amping up their online presence to compete with Amazon. And as the story goes, they hired some executive from Pepsi. Pepsi is far more than a soda company. It is a distributor, if it's anything. They move product from point A to point B. And when as the story goes, this executive came in and on day one saw some opportunity for improvement that made significant changes with Walmart's ability to compete with Amazon and their online presence. And it's because when you have other people coming in from outside the box, whether it's Ben coming from the tech industry and having patents with HP, should I name drop? Like some pretty cool stuff. Here I was a number of years ago watching Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson on the Joe Rogan podcast. And I remember like going down the rabbit hole, seeing like, okay, let me see if there's some truth to these alternative theories involving bronze chisels. Is this feasible? Is it not? And so I'm convinced that any reasonably intelligent person that simply looks at all points on any side of it can see like, okay, there is something here. There is a mystery here. And going back to Graham Hancock and Ancient Apocalypse, with all the criticism he's getting, I don't hear anybody advocating for exploring the Bimini Road. I don't hear anyone asking to excavate the 25,000-year-old chamber in Indonesia. I don't hear anyone talking about anything in the show.
Well, here's what's really cool. No one's paying attention as archaeologists. There's so many more people that are watching the show. Millions of people are watching the show. And like how many thousands of people have heard the arguments these archaeologists are having? It's a blip. It's literally like they're like yelling into the abyss and no one's listening to them.
Yeah.
The nature of the discourse has changed in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has. I mean, just having a fucking look. Human beings have accumulated knowledge and information over time, and the idea that there's gatekeepers to knowledge and information, that they have to come from these accredited universities, which are now being widely discredited because of all their wacky social ideas and all the crazy shit that people... It's not necessary.